What it do, what it do, what it do. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. I'm pretty sure YouTube is shiesty with the notifications because only 8 people in here. But anyway, moving on. Welcome back. Welcome back. What's up, Demi Bell? How are ya? How are ya? What's going on, y'all? So we are here to break down the full lawsuit against Diddy. I mean, I have the court documents and we are going to read them. They are very detailed, so I will put that out there. And I am going to also put a disclaimer out that this is fair use. So give me just a second, y'all. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me, baby. Uh-oh. Can I duplicate this? Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, wait. Okay, good. You can hear me. Thank you. Okay. I'm making this. Sorry, I should have been more prepared, at least for this particular situation, but I just want to make sure that I have this active. Okay, that all things, all commentary. Now I put alleged. Hold on. Is alleged. Okay, there it is. Listen. So we're gonna get into this, baby. What's up, Alpha? Hey, Valencia. Okay, thank you, Demi. I appreciate y'all. Hey, Simply Elegant One. Okay, listen. So this is very detailed. When I say detailed, I gotta put that disclaimer out there. This is very detailed. It could be a trigger because there is a trigger warning on this lawsuit. Now, the only reason why I cannot put the lawsuit on the screen is because some of these photographs are very, very graphic and very detailed, and I don't want Some people may have done it, but I ain't about to do it. Okay, I ain't about to take that chance. Because YouTube already playing with me now, girl. I ain't got time. Okay. So we're gonna get into some things. This is a 73-page document, but of course, we're not going to be going through everything, but we are gonna hit some good points. Okay. What's going on, Carol? Child, you better put that disclaimer out. We ain't got no money. Ain't got none. Now listen, y'all know we talk about the raffle, baby. We talk about the raffle. Okay, so you can still send over your $25. You still have time before the 29th at midnight, and that will help us. Okay, all right, that will help us with our crowd fund. Okay, cool. All right. Anyway. Now I done something that I just should not have done, but oh no. Hold on, y'all. Um what? Oh Lord. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Give me 2 seconds. I don't know what just happened. Um we give a little time for the people to come in because I don't want to have to repeat myself. And some of this stuff y'all need to definitely hear. Okay. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Outstanding. Mm. Hey. Okay. All right, y'all. We about to get into it. We about to get into it. I promise. I had to. I had to fix something, honey. All right. Ooh, come on. We like care packages, honey. We like care packages. That really ain't none of my business, but I happen to see it. I happen to see it. It ain't really my business and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I saw y'all talking about it in the chat. Okay. All right. So I wanted to make sure I did that. And I also blurred out their names around there on the thing. I ain't got time, man. All right. Y'all ready? Let's get into this thing. All right. So of course, Rodney Jones is the plaintiff and the defendant. I'll say Sean Combs, which is Diddy. You got Justin, which is his son, and there are a couple of other people, including Love Records, Motown Records, Universal Music Group, ABC Corporate. Listen, all the peoples is listed down here. Okay, all the peoples is listed down here. So plaintiff Little Rod hereby alleges um I'm a mess. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. Plaintiff Rodney Little Rod Jones hereby alleges as and for his complaint against defendant Sean Combs. Again, I ain't gonna go through all the other people, but it lists, of course, all the other defendants. This court has personal jurisdiction over the defendant under and consent with the constitutional requirements of due process, and in that the defendant acting directly or through his agents or apparent agents committed one or more of the following: A, the transaction of any business within the state; B, the making of any contract within the state; C, the commission of a tourist act within this district; and D, the ownership, use, and possession of any real estate in the state. Okay, so it explains the jurisdiction, and we about to get into it. From September 2022 to the date of the filing, and the date of the filing is 226 of 24. So that was just yesterday, guys. Defendants have consistently and purposefully availed themselves of the privilege of conducting activities in New York. Oh, wait, was I trying to read this? Um, I don't think I really was trying to read it. Anyway, that's basically saying, y'all, that RICO, all kind of charges can be brought. That's the little first paragraph with the jurisdiction and the venues. I really want to get into what's going on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So y'all know about Diddy. We ain't got to go around there and talk about Diddy. We can start talking about Rodney Little Rod Jones so y'all can get to know him. All right, let's go. Rodney Little Rod Jones Jr. is from the Windy City of Chi-Town. He was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. Mr. Jones is the second oldest son and fourth child out of 9 siblings. Mr. Jones comes from a long line of gospel music influencers. Mr. Jones started playing instruments at the age of 5. He began playing the drums in church, and at the age of 13, he picked up playing the guitar. From 13 to present day, Mr. Jones has taught himself to play over 13 instruments. Mr. Jones is considered a musical prodigy. His talents have led him to produce and create commercial marketplace for music that has been recorded by some of the most prestigious and highly acclaimed artists in the music history. Throughout the duration of his career, Mr. Jones has worked with the South Side of Chicago music scene, playing with the following legendary greats such as Georgia Mass Choir, Donna Lawrence, the Clark Sisters, and Smokey Norfolk. I don't know why they put the Smokey Norfolk, but okay. Smokey Norfolk. On or about August 2022, Mr. Jones received a call from Mr. Combs requesting that he produce several songs on a rhythm and blues album entitled The Love Album Off the Grid. All right. And Mr. Jones agreed, and his life has been impacted ever since. All right. So now we're about to start getting into the summary of events. What's going on, Aunt Daddy? What's going on? Y'all, please don't forget to hit that like button, the dislike button. I really don't care which one. Hold on, y'all. Oh Lord. Okay. No. I didn't mean that like I was doing Smokey. I just wonder why they put the and then Smokey Norfolk. Like, I think they just copied from putting the Clark sisters. I don't know. I love Smokey actually, and I feel like Smokey doesn't get his credit. I actually love Smokey. Diddy really want to go to baby. All right, so we are about to get into the summary of events. Remember that all things are alleged, and this is fair use. I do have the actual document in front of me, and that is what I'm reading. And the only reason why I'm not putting it on the screen is because it has a lot of things in it. Okay. All right. Whew, let's go. From September 2022 to November 2023, Mr. Jones produced 9 songs on Mr. Combs' Love album. Mr. Jones lived with Mr. Combs for months at a time, spending holidays, birthdays, and missing major family events. Mr. Jones resided at Mr. Combs' residence located in Los Angeles, California, New York City, and Miami, Florida. Mr. Jones also spent several weeks on a yacht rented by Mr. Combs in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Throughout his time, Mr. Jones witnessed, experienced, and endured many things that went far beyond his role as a producer on the Love album. The claims raised in this complaint have been corroborated through witness statements, video, audio recordings, and images that Mr. Jones has in his possession. All right. It goes on to say that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to record him consistently. On several occasions, Mr. Combs took Mr. Jones's cell phone and began recording himself. As a result, Mr. Jones has secured hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Mr. Combs, his staff, his guests engaging in serious illegal activity. Mr. Jones has very secure evidence. So let's get into it. The use of and distribution of ecstasy, the other stuff, marijuana, all the things, and mushrooms. The display and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms. Now, again, this is what Mr. Jones is claiming that he has evidence that Diddy has or has been doing. Okay. Mr. Combs provided laced alcoholic beverages to minors and sex workers at his homes in California, New York, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as Florida. Mr. Combs' chief of staff, Christina, and she is better known as KK, instructed her staff to retrieve drugs so she could provide it to Mr. Combs for his consumption, honey. So you went and got that for Mr. Combs so he could do. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, now this gets really deep. Okay. Christian Combs, which is his son, drugging and SAing a woman. Mr. Combs detailing how he planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop T.D. Jakes to soften the impact of his public image of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. So this makes you know that a lot of things are recent. Like this ain't, I'm going back 15 years to go sue somebody. This is giving us a recent account or a direct account of what is currently going on. Okay. Okay, y'all. It's okay. It's just the groceries. Calm down. Thank you. Okay, Lord have mercy. Okay, let's keep going, y'all. They a mess. Now, y'all heard Bishop T.D. Jakes in there, didn't it? Not he done named Bishop T.D. Jakes. Hey, Mahogany. Now he done named Bishop T.D. Jakes into the lawsuit, y'all. Young Miami cousin. Y'all know Young Miami is Carisha, please. Young Miami's cousin and assistant S.A.ing Mr. Jones. Actor Cuba Gooding Jr. S.H.ing and S.A.ing Mr. Jones. Rapper redacted on Mr. Combs' yacht. Now, why you redact the rapper? Consorting with underaged girls, sex workers, and a R&B singer redacted in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home with underage girls and sex workers as well. Girl. On or about September 12, 2022, Mr. Combs held a writers and producers camp at is that Khaleesi Recording Studios and then it gives the address. Present at this camp were Mr. Combs, his son Justin, and Justin's friend named G. Mr. G is a 30-year-old tall African American male. In addition to these individuals, other musicians were present at the camp. This writer has spoken to several musicians who attended the camp. One evening during the camp, Mr. Combs, J. Combs, and G were in a heated conversation. That conversation was moved out of the studio into the restroom adjacent to where Mr. Jones was sitting. Mr. Jones was approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom when gunshots rang out. Mr. Jones recalls hearing multiple gunshots. And then it gives some details about who the rapper might be. Okay. So it says a complaint is forthcoming. The writer spoke with several employees of the yacht rented by Mr. Combs in the U.S. Virgin Islands, who personally witnessed defendant KK instruct her staff, and then it lists the staff name, to spike bottles of champagne with ecstasy. It says that he is a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. He is a Grammy Award winner R&B singer who had trouble with law enforcement after A-wording a billionaire. So that's Chris Brown. I mean, we're just gonna say allegedly, but that's Chris Brown. They redacted his name, but that's the only person that they could be talking about. Dated Nicki Minaj, had an A word with a billionaire. That's exactly who that is. Anyway, moving on. Mr. Jones immediately went into a state of shock and feared that he would be shot next. Mr. Jones genuinely believed that he would be shot through the door due to how close he was. Now, after the shooting ended, a crowd gathered around the restroom. When the door finally opened, Mr. Combs and Jay Combs exited. G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his lap and hip area. You think it's Meek Mill? Oh, the rapper. The rapper is Meek Mill, but it mentions an R&B singer. The R&B singer has to be Chris Brown. Now, who Meek Mill then got in trouble? Yeah, I think they did date. No, 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 no. Okay, so let's not get it confused. The rapper dated Meek Mill. I mean, the rapper dated Nicki Minaj, but the R&B singer is the one who had trouble with law enforcement. So the R&B singer is Chris Brown, and the rapper is Meek Mill. I might have said it backwards, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. All right. Let's see. Okay, so G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his leg, hip area. Everyone stood around looking upon G, frustrated by the lack of aid to G. Mr. Jones dropped everything, ran to G, and immediately began placing pressure on G's gunshot wound to his stomach. As he was applying pressure on his stomach, Mr. Jones realized that G was gushing blood from another area of his hip or leg. He decided to lift G and placed him to sit on the toilet. Mr. Jones asked the crowd to call the ambulance. Probably ain't saying it right, but ambulance. Y'all ain't gonna laugh at me. I ain't on the Wanda. Now, Mr. Jones lifted G and brought him to the ambulance. Y'all know, at the studio's front. At this time, Mr. Combs and Justin disappeared in another part of the studio. Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by, and that ain't it. Okay, y'all don't be laughing at me, okay? Because I can't say the A word. Y'all know what it is, honey. I ain't finna get up here and try to make up no word. Okay. So it then places an article that we could reference, but we ain't got no time because, like I told y'all, this is long. And it just gives an article, and the title of the article says "Man Shot Outside Party at Hollywood Recording Studio." Okay, all right. So 45. Mr. Jones has several corroborating witnesses who spoke with the rapper anonymously due to the fear of retaliation from Mr. Combs. They have agreed to speak publicly when subpoenaed. Mr. Jones has the clothing he wore that day and believed it still may have stains of DNA of G's blood. And I was like, oh. The following are screenshots of the aftermath of the restroom where G. Okay, well, I ain't had to really read that. Okay, but y'all, the photos are very graphic. The photos are pretty graphic. In my opinion, they're graphic. Anything that I see with blood is graphic. Okay, the aftermath of the shooting. Clearly, G was not shot outside of the studio as Mr. Combs instructed his team to report to law enforcement. Mr. Combs and the defendant, LRMG, UMG, girl, all them names, provided private security for the writers' camp as at defendant CRS. And I think that's Chris. Okay. Anyway, the security was lackluster at best, honey. The fact that either Mr. Combs, J. Combs, were allowed to enter to the CRS with guns, those guns were not confiscated by security, is a clear breach of duty. Hold on, y'all. Okay. By a clear breach of duty, Mr. Combs' defendants, MRUMG, to protect Mr. Jones and other attendees of the rioters' camp. As a result of the shooting, Mr. Jones is severely traumatized. Mr. Jones now suffers from PTSD, severe anxiety, depression, and insomnia. All right. Throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, now this is where we get into the sexual, A word and all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Whew. Now listen, I know some of y'all that heard this. Really B, shout out to Really B. Really B has reported on this yesterday, and I found it juicy, and I was like, I want to read it to my people too, Let me quit. But anyway, I wanted to read it to my people too. Baby, why somebody done reached out to me that went to that event that Martell was supposed to be at? I can't wait to drop that tea. Anywho, let's keep going. So throughout his time living with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was the victim of consistent, unsolicited, and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Mr. Combs. These events took place in LA, New York, and Florida, and the United States Virgin Islands. In addition to the unsolicited and unauthorized touching, Mr. Jones was forced by Mr. Combs to work in Mr. Combs' bathroom as Mr. Combs walked around naked and showered in a clear glass enclosure. As a heterosexual Christian man, Mr. Jones was uncomfortable with Mr. Combs' advances and expressed his discomfort to Mr. Combs' chief of staff, KK. KK responded to Mr. Jones' complaint with, Sean will be Sean. KK also attempted to downplay Mr. Combs' groping of Mr. Jones' anus and genitals as friendly horseplay. Stated that those acts were Mr. Combs' way of showing that he likes you. Okay, girl. Listen. If I tell you don't touch me, I don't give a damn how you want the people to know that you friendly and all of that. Understand boundaries. Boundaries are boundaries. Okay? And you don't have to sit up here and disrespect. That's all I got to say about that. Despite these assurances, on several occasions, Mr. Combs began to undress and walk around his house naked. KK would say, "Okay, I'm leaving now," and would disappear. Now sit down. Sit down. Sit down. This is what I would have told her. You talking about this horseplay? Will you accept the horseplay? Sit your ass down. I'm just saying. If you're gonna deem what I tell you as horseplay, then I'm not gonna take you serious either. Sit down. KK's hypocrisy is breathtaking at best or enabling at worst. Mr. Jones believes that KK aided and abetted Mr. Combs' SA of him and was working with Mr. Combs to groom him into accepting a homosexual relationship. Though the sexual deviant acts one would say that Mr. Combs has a pattern and a practice of engaging in such, that type of activity. You know what I'm saying? The ongoing conduct shows that Mr. Combs cannot be, in other words, at this point, we see the patterns, and patterns mean a lot. Okay. Hey Shirley, this man has seen some serious allegations with pictures. Sound like, I bet he would get a payout. Diddy don't want to listen. I don't know. Maybe him coming out with this stuff. Listen, I don't know. Now we're about to get into something that we now know is not really who they said it was. So I have Stevie J up here, and I have there was a gay male. He's the one up here in the red, in the little phone thing. He is a he's a gay male porn star. Okay. Okay. I'll get back with him in a minute. But he's a gay male porn star, so it wasn't Stevie J. All right. Anyway, we're gonna get into this, and then we'll get into a few of the other things, honey. And like I said, I'm not gonna prolong y'all. We're not going to get through the full legal document, of course. But we're gonna break this up, and I'm gonna do some more tomorrow as well. Let's get into this Stevie J part. Mr. Combs was aware that Mr. Jones looked to and idolized producer Stephen Aaron Jordan, which is Stevie J. Stevie J is an American DJ, record producer, and television personality. Stevie J was a part of Bad Boys Records production team, The Hitman. In 1997, Stevie J won a Grammy Award for his work with Puff Daddy's debut album. Throughout the late 1990s, Stevie J produced for several artists, including Mariah Carey, Tevin Campbell, The Notorious B.I.G., 112, Jodeci, Faith Evans, Jay-Z, and Eve. Stevie J was one of the producers on the Love album. Mr. Combs used access to Stevie J and his knowledge of Mr. Jones' administration of Stevie J to groom and entice Mr. Jones to engage in homosexual activity. Okay. Mr. Combs went so far as to share a video of Stevie J penetrating a Caucasian man without a condom. Now listen, again, this ain't Stevie J. This is a known gay adult film star. Okay? And he has come out on the Twitter and told y'all that it is him and it ain't Stevie J. Okay. It now I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna post a little screenshot in Patreon. Now they kind of do look like Stevie J, but it ain't Stevie J. Okay, it ain't Stevie J. Okay, let me keep going. This Okay, so Mr. Combs went as okay. So I said that now, according to Mr. Combs, this is normal practice in the music industry. Look, even Stevie J is doing it. So again, he's trying to coerce Mr. Jones into doing some homosexual thing. Mr. Jones informed. I'm sorry, Mr. Combs enjoyed. Mr. Combs informed Mr. Jones that he had engaged in a sexual intercourse with rapper Redacted, R&B singer Redacted, and Stevie J. Mr. Mr. Combs promised to make sure that Mr. Jones wins Producer of the Year at the Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. The following are screenshots of the video of Stevie J anally penetrating a Caucasian man, and I'm not going to keep saying it that is Stevie J. That is a adult film star, and he already came out. But Stevie J, don't come for me. I know you. Listen, I ain't going to keep saying it. Again, the rapper is a Philadelphia rapper. The R&B singer. Oh wait, the R&B singer performed at the Super Bowl and has a successful Vegas residency. Oh God, not Usher, not Usher, Lord, not Usher, not Usher, not Usher, not Usher. Oh Lord, not Usher. Oh Lord. Okay, let's keep going, child. On Thanksgiving Day of 2022, Mr. Jones was was in Mr. Combs' house located in Miami, Florida. Young Miami, which is Carisha Police, and her female cousins were also present. Now this is interesting. Y'all got to hear this for real. Mr. Combs was intoxicated and offered the cocaine, to Mr. Jones, and Mr. Jones rejected him and proceeded to walk to the restroom. While using the restroom, young Miami's cousin burst into the restroom and began groping Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones believed that Mr. Combs sent her in there to SA Mr. Jones. As she entered into the bathroom, she dropped to her knees and began performing oral. Okay, no, Aunt Natty, don't get it confused. The first one that we talked about is Chris Brown. The second one, who he's saying that he allegedly had a threesome with, he's saying is Usher. So I want to we can't get it confused. So he still mentions Chris Brown, but it's redacted. But in this particular situation, we're talking about the threesome that he had with Stevie J, alleged. Well, I don't know if that's a false one. Anyway, that what's going on right there. That's what he talking about. Had Usher in. They got Usher in. Okay. So again, as she entered into the restroom, she dropped to her knees and began performing oral sex on Mr. Jones' exposed penis. Mr. Jones, I should have said pedo actor. Okay. Mr. Jones pushed her away and exited the bathroom. Young Miami's cousin did not accept Mr. Jones' rejection as she proceeded to follow Mr. Jones out of the bathroom. She started undressing and attempted to straddle him to have, the stuff with him in the presence of Mr. Combs and his staff. Girl, listen here. This is woo, mercy, Lord. No, for real. Mercy, Lord. Cause girl, Yeah, he was in there using the restroom. At least that's what I got from it. That he was using. Hey Tracy, I got that he was using the restroom. Shout out to Tracy too. That's what I got from it. That he was in there using the restroom. Once again, Mr. Jones pushed her off. The following are images from a video of Young Miami and her cousin, Mr. Jones and Mr. Combs. Now, these pictures have now, most of this stuff that's in this lawsuit has appeared online. However, I don't want to put it on my YouTube because I feel like if I do, they're going to flag it. Okay. All right. So let's get into the rest of this. Now, again, remember, this is Young Miami's female cousins that have done this, allegedly. Okay. And you know, that baby, that is crazy. Okay. So now we're getting into the Trafficking and Victims of Protection Act. Okay. Throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was transported from California to New York, Florida, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. During this time, Mr. Jones was forced to solicit sex workers and perform sex acts uh, to the pleasure of Mr. Combs. On or about February 4, 2023, Mr. Combs forced Mr. Jones to bring the ones that stand on the corner and sex workers back to his home in Miami, Florida. On or about February 2nd of 2023, incident, Mr. Jones believed that Mr. Combs drugged him. Mr. Jones recalled waking up naked, dizzy, and confused. He was in bed with two sex workers and Mr. Combs. He also recalls aimlessly wandering around the house with no clothes on. And then he provides screenshots of him in the bed with the people. Oh, Jesus. Man. Whew. Baby. Baby. Y'all, this is some this the way he detailed this stuff is crazy to me. This is so crazy. Oh, okay. Let's keep going, child. On another occasion in Miami, Florida, on Thanksgiving night of 2022, Mr. Combs asked Mr. Jones and DeForest Taylor to enter the studio bathroom. He asked them for $100 bill because he wanted to do cocaine with him. Mr. Jones was scared, but luckily he didn't have $100 bill, so Mr. Jones waited a little while later to do the cocaine with Carisha, please. Allegedly. Oh Lord. Jesus, my Carisha, please over there doing the stuff. Lord, that's bad. Oh Lord. Later that evening, he required Mr. Jones to solicit sex workers from Bobby Trap on the river located in Miami, Florida. Mr. Jones did so, and Mr. Combs forced him to engage in unsolicited sex acts with these workers. Girl. And so then they put a photograph of the place that they're discussing. Oh, Lord have mercy. I don't like how that sex worker standing though, girl. Anyway, let's get into the rest of this. Um, as a part of Mr. Jones' sex workers recruitment tool, Mr. Combs provided Mr. Jones with an exclusive Bad Boys baseball cap and required him to wear it to booby trap. I call that booby trap. The booby trap on the river as a signal to any sex worker that he approached that Mr. Combs was in town and had sent Mr. Jones to recruit them. Y'all. So You wear a bad boy's cap and you walking around this place, and that's how you recruit the women. I mean, the sex workers. Jeez, man. Mr. Jones had no desire to visit Booby Trap on the river. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit sex workers from Booby Trap on the river. Mr. Combs used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting sex workers from Booby Trap on the river. As detailed below, Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over Mr. Jones. Girl. Y'all, I ain't put to pretend like I read this because I didn't. And I'm gagged. No lie. Like I heard Really B talking about it yesterday. I was doing some other stuff too. So there were some moments where I wasn't paying close attention. But girl. Whew. All right. Now, apparently, the workers were accustomed to servicing Mr. Combs and would know that he was in town by the side of the Bad Boys baseball cap. The following are Instagram profiles of two of the sex workers that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and have sex with in his home in Miami, Florida. Oh, Lord. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or have sex with the individuals in the previous paragraph. Mr. Jones used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting and sleeping with the women. The following is the phone number of another sex worker that Mr. Combs required Mr. Jones to solicit and perform sex acts with him in his Miami home. Mr. Jones had no desire to solicit or have sex with the individuals or with the individual in the previous paragraph. Mr. Jones used his power and influence to intimidate and force Mr. Jones into soliciting and sleeping with the individuals above. Mr. Combs used many tactics to maintain dominion and control over Mr. Jones. He promised him a Grammy for Producer of the Year for the Love album. He offered him $250,000 to purchase all the instruments he wanted. He promised him ownership of $20 million in property, One Star Island in Miami, Florida. He promised access to the record label executive like defendants, and then it names a couple of the people like Ethiopia and all them folks. Okay. Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go for the he would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm, allegedly. Again, we are reading a complaint that is alleged. All right. Mr. Jones threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face. What? Maybe that. Wait a minute. Huh? Okay, wait. Let me. Okay, wait. I think I read that wrong. Hold on, y'all. Okay, Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face. No, I didn't misread that. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face. Now wait a minute. Okay, y'all. Hold on. I have some form of something. But girl, let me tell you. What? Eat the man's face? Okay, I'm gonna read this one more time, y'all, because I just have to make sure I'm not tripping. Okay. Mr. Combs often switched up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Jones threatened to eat Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face and okay, Lord have mercy, and informed Mr. Jones um, that he was willing to unalive his mother, Janice Combs. Girl, what? Oh, oh, oh. Let me take a drink of water. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Girl, woo, Jesus. Okay, that was a lie. That was a lie. We went from eating the man face to wanting to you will unalive your mama, girl. Oh my word, I can take. Woo, Jesus. Okay, that was that paragraph was a lot. Okay. Uh, Mr. Combs, sorry y'all, one more time. Mr. Combs would often switch up his approach. He would go from promising Mr. Jones the world to threatening Mr. Jones with physical harm. Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones' face and informed Mr. Jones that he was willing to unalive his mother, Janice Combs, if he must in order to get what he wants. So he wouldn't think twice to harm Mr. Jones. Oh my God, girl. It goes on to say that on or about July the 2nd of 2023 in California, Mr. Combs had a listening party at his home. Present at this party was R&B artist Redacted, Jay Combs, sex workers, and some underage girls. The event began at 7 p.m. and Mr. Combs requested female sex workers and required Mr. Jones to solicit them. An hour later, several sex workers appeared. An additional sex worker. There were at least 5 women in the crowd that were under the age of 16. Mr. Combs forced all the women to drink Lace de Leon liquor. Ooh. Now, upon information and belief, Mr. Combs laced the liquor with ecstasy. Mr. Combs did not check the identification of these underage girls. The presence of the underage women made Mr. Jones very uncomfortable. He attempted to leave Mr. Combs, and Mr. Combs forced him to stay. Mr. Combs went so far as to make Mr. Jones car key or to take Mr. Jones' car keys to prevent him from leaving. After being forced to drink Lace de Leon shots, Mr. Jones began feeling lightheaded and recalls passing out and waking up at 4 a.m. the following morning naked with sex workers sleeping next to him. Girl, now wait a minute. I got a question. Did sex workers stay overnight? I mean, they probably passed out because if they was lit and stuff. But girl, get your and go. Okay. Anywho, maybe that ain't how that work. I don't know. Maybe that ain't how that work. Okay. Moving on. Screenshots of video of the night embedded below, and they literally do have screenshots of the night. Moving on. Mr. Jones believed that Mr. Combs was grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. while they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. Now, during the introduction, Mr. Combs suggested that Cuba get to know Mr. Jones better. He then left them alone in the shift studio on the yacht. Girl, not Cuba. Girl. Oh, oh, oh. As the evidence by the video of which screenshots are embedded below, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching and groping and fondling Mr. Jones' leg, his upper inner thigh near his groin, and the small of his back near his buttock and his shoulder. I know good and well the people ain't talked about this full lawsuit, y'all. I know they couldn't because Mr. Jones was extremely uncomfortable and proceeded to lean away from Mr. Gooding Jr. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. The following is a screenshot of the encounter with Cuba Gooding Jr. Now, if y'all are asking how are they getting this, of course y'all know the studio probably has cameras, and these are like shots of videos and stuff. Okay, so I want to add that clarity to it. Okay, um, okay, now throughout his time with Mr. Combs, Mr. Jones was under an implied work for hire agreement. Okay. Now he was not compensated for his time living with Mr. Combs for the songs that he produced. As evidence, he was listed as a as evidence, he was listed as a producer on the following songs of the Love album's finale release or final release. And I ain't about to list on that. Okay. Mr. Combs and defendant LRMG and UMG all believe benefited from Mr. Jones' work product. So he basically saying y'all got a coin off of this man producing all of this stuff, and he didn't get nothing from it. What's going on, PM2 Ross? How you doing, Bridge? Okay. They failed to compensate Mr. Jones for his work. As a result, Mr. Combs and defendant LR, MR, and UMG were all unjustly enriched at the expense of Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones attempted to work with Mr. Combs to secure his publishing and royalty rights for his work that he had completed on the Love album. Mr. Combs only offered Mr. Jones $29,000 for 13 months, thousands of hours of work, and 9 songs that made it to the Love album. Ironically, Mr. Jones was willing to take $50,000 as publishing and royalties. Mr. Combs' self-serving greed would not allow him to pay Mr. Jones an additional $21,000. You know what's crazy? I don't know. Some of this stuff, man. I don't know. I saw out of the fact that maybe he just didn't know who the person was, because no lie, the still shots of that particular adult film guy, they do kind of look like Stevie J. But y'all, this is something. Woo. Baby. Whew. Okay, Mr. Jones. I'm sorry, Mr. Combs. Deceptive business practices became as bad as Mr. Jones was left with no choice other than to make a public plea on social media for Mr. Combs to pay him for his work. After publicly requesting that Mr. Combs do the right thing and pay him fairly, Mr. Jones received an onslaught of threats from Stevie J and Love Records ADR DeForest Taylor. So on here it says you plan. Somebody says I'm in the studio, or sorry, Mr. Jones says I'm in the studio. They say, LOL, you're a 100% liar and a weirdo. Good luck. Number number still the same. Run into nigga. Come talk to me in public on public podcast and or forum. Okay, so he was trying to pretty much get him to say, since he publicly came out, he need to publicly do like a podcast or something with him. And again, these are supposed to be threats. Okay, all right, keep going. According to Mr. Jones, Mr. Combs is very forceful and demanding. Mr. Combs does not take no for an answer and would often threaten um, to inflict bodily harm on Mr. Jones if Mr. Jones did not comply with his demands. As detailed above, Mr. Combs threatened to eat Mr. Jones's face. That is some. I just cannot. I just cannot. Whew. On another occasion, while standing in Mr. Combs' bathroom, Mr. Jones was forced to watch Mr. Combs display his guns and bragged about getting away with pow-powing people. And Mr. Combs shared that he was responsible for the pow-pow in the nightclub in the New York City with rapper Shine, however you say it. He shared that artist and Mr. Combs' girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, carried a gun into the club for him and passed him the gun after he got into an altercation with another individual. And he brings up the article that was published on August 11th of 2021. Sean Combs, Jennifer Lopez arrested after New York shooting. Okay. All right. The shooting in Khalees Record Studios confirmed Mr. Combs' statement. These statements reinforced Mr. Jones' fear of Mr. Combs and strengthened Mr. Combs' dominion and control over Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones was terrified of Mr. Combs. He felt like he could not tell him no. Mr. Combs consistently made it clear that he has immense power in the music industry and with law enforcement. Mr. Combs made it clear that he had a history of security. Mr. Muhammad is what we're gonna call him because I ain't try to say his first name. Okay. Had the power to make people and problems disappear. Well, Diddy, let me just say this. If that is true, they don't make everything disappear. Okay? Because no matter what you say, you settled. Can I say this and then we're gonna do part 2 tomorrow. But I want to say this. Because I may be able to redact some stuff and put it up. But I want to say this. What I don't really understand is what made Diddy think that with what happened with Cassie, even though you settled, bro, it's going to remain like people are gonna keep doing this. People are gonna keep suing. People are gonna keep coming out. But the odd thing and the crazy thing about this situation is this is recent stuff. This is from stuff like we may be going back as far as what 2022. But the remainder of this, like, bro, 2022, we ain't even into the third month of 2024. Some of this stuff ain't even 2 to 3 years old, 2 to 3 years old yet. So, like, in real life, this is really some crazy stuff. Are there, and this is just me, I'm gonna say allegedly, I do believe some of these things happen. Because like I said, this is very detailed, as Cassie's was detailed, you know. So I feel like this is going to open the door, and I feel like you can't shut everybody up, Diddy. like at some point, you just cannot shut everybody up. You just cannot. So, child, I'm gonna break this up. We're gonna go over the rest of this, like I said, tomorrow. This is part one. We're gonna do part two tomorrow. We're gonna break it all up, and then I'm gonna share what I can on the screen as far as this goes. But this also goes on. It talks about Gene Deal. It goes into mentioning a whole bunch of stuff, y'all. So what I'm actually going to do too is I'm going to go ahead and post this and not post this, but post those pictures in Patreon. Okay. So yeah, y'all check out part two. If y'all would like to support the platform, you guys can do that by, of course, hitting the like button and making sure you bang that notification bell so that you know that anytime I go live, so we can get part two tomorrow. I didn't really expect too many people to be in here, but this is why I also didn't want to make this video too long so that people can still listen to it and not have to skip past the whole, or not have to skip through a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. So I want to make this short. And also, too, I got to keep the attention of the people. So, with that being said, I appreciate you, Valencia. Let's see who else. Simply Elegant One, Demi, Bell, PN2, Ross is in the house. Brittany is in the house. Let's see. Melanated Fitness is in the house. Lady B, Nidra. I hope I said that right. Quiet Storm was in the house. Shout out to y'all. Tracy was in the house. Aunt Natty was in the house. I don't know if they still here, but Shirley was in the house. Shout out to y'all. Raymel was in the house. Alfmac was in the house. Jamie was in the house. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. I thought I saw J28T up in here. Maybe I didn't. But even if I didn't, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay, now listen, you guys do know that our raffle is getting ready to start wrapping up soon. So please make sure that you guys head over and send your donation of $25 or more. Of course, multiple entries get you, multiple donations get you entered in multiple times. So listen, and we need your support. We need your support. We are getting ready to produce some things, and so I wanted to make sure that you guys know what's going on. YouTube didn't send you, child. I figured that it didn't send out too many notifications. The numbers say that. The numbers tell me that. But what up though, Harold? Listen, you can listen to the playback. I'm gonna do two parts to this so that I don't bore the people too fast. But I'm also going to hopefully redact some things. That way I can show it on the screen tomorrow. Okay. That is what I'm hoping to do. All right, y'all. Well, listen, I am your boy Chef Don Don, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please make sure you hit that like button. Please, 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 please make sure you subscribe, bang that notification bell, and also too, make sure. Yeah, being in Patreon is definitely a good thing too, because I always let y'all know when I'm going live in Patreon. So it and you get email notifications from Patreon, so it helps. So shout out to y'all for supporting the platform. I appreciate it. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video, y'all. All right, bye.